Hey guys, and welcome in. Welcome into tonight's live. How's everybody doing? Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. I always have to look to see what day it is, it seems like, but hopefully, you guys are having a great Tuesday, a great start to your week anyway. And it is the 14th of the month of trying to get my watch band back on of January. This month's already flying by. This year's flying by. I feel like it anyway. So if you're new to the channel, my name's Tanya or Titanium Built. You can call me either or, and welcome in. And if you're not new to the channel, welcome back. Thank you for joining me for another live. We are here every evening at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if that's something that you're into, maybe you'll subscribe. If you do subscribe, we'd love to have you. Also, if you guys don't mind taking a second, hitting the like button, it does help the channel get into the algorithm. The faster we do it, the faster it gets out there. So now that I said my piece, I'm going to say hi to everybody. Look at that, Ladybug #1 in chat. Oh, you got released. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Hey, Tennessee Gal. Oh, you can hang out with us. Hey, Princess Elsa. Hey, Mary Beth. How you doing today, Mary Beth? Mike's in here. Ashley's in here. How's everybody doing? Exquisite, how you doing? You are back. Hey, Lucia. Mike's with the singing keys. If someone could send some prayers for health and healing my way, that'd be good too. Thanks, Ladybug. I just saw that you said that. Hey, Frenchie. Hey, Chai. Hey, Rocky. I had some lab work come back, so I'm going to talk about it on my second channel tomorrow. I thought that all of my lab work came back from like a couple months ago, like a month or so ago, but apparently it didn't. And so, yeah, very scary stuff. Did I miss Rocky? Hey, Rocky. That's my kitty's name. He's the best kitty in the world. Oh, there's my dogs. I better let them in. I knew they were going to do that. That was the brown one. She normally don't bark. That's so funny. Hey, True Crime Lullabies. Hey, Jeff. I'm going to use actually one of your videos tonight, if you don't mind. Actually, not tonight, but on my next live, the grub truck video. Oh, thank you, Mary Beth. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, Tony. Hey, Pancakes. Hey, Cat K. It's good to see everybody in here. Hey, Mary. I know I'm a little slow when it comes to saying everybody's name, but you know, that happens. So I'm going to let my dogs in really fast because if we'll be hearing them bark, not bark, but they make this weird Chewbacca sound. So we'll be hearing it all night if not. I accidentally hit a different app there. Sorry about that, guys. I got her in here. What are you doing? Go lay in your bed. I only have one right now. It's so weird. Hey, Shauna. It's so weird just having the one dog. But my gray dog, my Weimaraner, for some reason, she's been loving on Vincent lately. She likes to lay beside him. I think it's because he's out there on the couch and she loves laying beside and touching somebody. It's like her favorite thing. Now lay down. Lay on your bed. Come here. Look, right here. Look at, you got the whole room. Yeah. I know you're not used to this. You're wondering where your sister's at. They always wonder about each other. It's cute. So we'll go ahead and we'll get into things. Hey, Jessica. Oh, thank you very much. And I'll let everyone know tomorrow, like kind of what's going on. When I kind of figure out what's going on, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So we're going to talk about it. And when I figure it out, y'all are going to figure it out or y'all will know. And then we'll figure it out from there. It may just be some simple life changes or it may be life changing. I don't know. It's just, they didn't give me a very good answers today. So, but I'm glad I'm with you guys here tonight because it gets my mind off stuff. Now, I don't know why my dog won't lay down, but she's just like wandering around the room. I think she's just exploring. Are you just exploring? Okay, whatever. She's in here every night. She's in here every night, but for some reason tonight she's like smelling everything, looking around. There she goes. She's getting in the bed. Because if she's gone in that bed, my ears will be not, it won't be good on my ears. So she's laying down. So I wanted to read, we stopped last night. We are, if you're wondering, like, what are you guys doing over here? If you're new. So tonight we're just continuing the coverage of the Idaho 4 massacre. We started going over this a few nights ago. We decided to go back to the beginning and just kind of go from there. Now, there's probably things that I have missed here and there, but hopefully not too much. We're going over the press releases, some of the local news that was out there. Tonight, we're going to have some footage from the coroner, which we looked over actually the other night, but it just happens to go in order from where we're going at tonight. So tonight, we're going to talk about the autopsies and the coroner and what she kind of said about what was going on, because she did an interview. I don't think she was really supposed to do that interview, but she did it anyway. Good thing for us, because now we have it. And then we'll watch the 11, so November 20th, we'll watch their press conference from there, and they give us a lot more information. And yeah, so I think that's all my notes said. So if you are new to this case, we are talking about the University of Idaho 4 massacre that happened on November 13th, 2022. It took the lives. Someone came in there. Someone, we don't know if it was Bryan Kohberger yet. He hasn't been found guilty in a court of law, but somebody went in there and unalived 4 students that I'm trying to use my words, because YouTube, they knifed them. So there were 2 surviving roommates that survived the attack. Either they weren't known to be in the house, or he was just out of stamina and he needed to exit the building. But either way, there are 2 surviving witnesses and roommates. So a lot of people looked at them, sideways, that I think people still do, because the call didn't come into 911 until 11:58 the next morning, which is 8 hours after the homicides occurred. So a lot of people do side eye that. Now, I went over a whole video on fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, and I believe in that. Especially the flight and freezing part of it. So I know, like, I can put my 2 cents in, but I mean, everybody's different, and everybody, when they go through something like this, they act differently. So we'll go through everything. I did. I Googled it, Rocky. I Googled it. It literally went from like lifestyle changes to like liver failure or something. And I was like, oh my God. But my liver's not failing. Don't worry, guys. That's not happening. I don't think. It better not be. No, it's not. It's not. No, it'll probably be fine. I'm made of metal. Can we start making like organs made of metal? Hey, Angel, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Some doctor needs to get on that. Some surgeon. So this is for immediate release. This is from Moscow PD. They were bringing out like press releases pretty much daily. And they were doing press conferences like every few days. I think they did a pretty good amount. In my opinion. We wanted more at the time, but we were getting a lot more than we get in a lot of cases. I mean, if you think about it, just even Sebastian's case, they didn't even come out with 3, maybe they come out 3 times and talked, 4 times and talked, not very many times. So, okay. If you guys don't mind, hit that like button for your girl and we'll get on with it. So this is from November 18th, 2022. And it says, on behalf of the Latah County Coroner's Office, the City of Moscow Police Department is releasing the cause and manner of death for the homicides at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho. This is the date of release is 11/17. The date of pronounced death is at 11/13/2022 at noon. So I'm assuming the first responders when they arrived. The names of the victims are going to be Ethan Chapin, age 20, biological sex, male, hometown Conway, Washington. Name Kaylee Goncalves, age 21, biological sex female, hometown Rathdrum, Idaho. Name Xander Kernodle, age 20, biological sex female, hometown Post Falls, Idaho. And then we have Madison Mogan, 21 years old, female, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The place of pronounced death was at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho. Cause of death is homicide, and it's murder. And then manner of death, stabbing. And then we'll go over to here and we'll listen to what old Kathy Mabbitt had to say. We listened to her the other night. I don't know if you remember her, but she said some stuff. She did. Hi, Diane. Hey, Rhonda. Welcome in, Kathy. Welcome in, everybody coming in. Okay. I'm like, where'd I go? There we go. Okay.
With a C, Mabbitt, M-A-B-B-U-T-T.
And I think this is as high as
Kathy.
Let me boost the
with a C,
sound.
Mabbitt, M-A-B-B-U-T-T.
And I'm going to ask you, how long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing it for 16 years, and I just got reelected for another 4.
So what is it that, or I guess, when did you get the call on Sunday?
I got the call just a few minutes after noon that there were 4 homicides, but I didn't go to the scene because of law enforcement doing their investigation first. So I didn't actually go to the scene until about 5 or 5:30.
Can you walk us through between?
Sure. Well, law enforcement goes through and looks for any evidence, takes videos and pictures of everything in there, and they'll start talking with people. So I don't really need to be there for that. They can't move the bodies. I mean, the bodies have to stay as they were until the coroner gets there. So that's what my job is, to look at the bodies.
As a coroner, do you guys do the autopsies and all that?
No, we some do if they're an actual medical examiner, but we have forensic pathologists and we contract with Spokane to do that.
So in your experience, what is it that you saw?
So did she, hold on a second. Now that we're watching this for the 100th time, did she go in there by herself and see the placement of the bodies and make the determination on what happened? I guess because of the placement of the bodies. She's a registered nurse. Like, no offense, but I would want a medical doctor doing that. I don't know.
Well, there was a lot of blood. It was a very sad scene with 4 murdered college students.
Hey, Reba.
You're rolling all 4 deaths, homicides?
Yes.
Okay. And can you give us a manner of death?
Yeah.
Hey, I believe that the press release was that they were from a sharp object. So
stabbings.
Yeah, I will know more after the autopsies tomorrow.
And do you believe this could be like a murder-suicide or?
No, there are 4 homicides.
4 homicides. Okay. And when it comes to doing the investigation post-autopsy, that falls on you, correct?
Yes, it's my job to determine the manner and mechanism of death.
So the manner and mechanism of death. Man, you're one hell of a registered nurse. Because, like, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be hard. I mean, I think it would be kind of hard maybe for some people to know if it was, somebody was like, someone used a knife compared to like, I don't know, some other like sharp instrument. I don't know.
Then
I'm
know
curious now.
toxicology results, there can often be, at least in Washington, a delay. So do you have any idea how long it could take if those were relevant to get any type of results back on that?
Well, the toxicology reports, right, they usually take 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes longer. But they might, I don't think they're going to be relevant in the actual manner or cause of death.
And do we know?
Meaning like, this wasn't underground tunnels or the mafia, things like that.
How long between the time of death and when police found them, approximately?
No, I don't know for sure.
Do we have like any, like, could it have been hours? Could it have been a day? Was it maybe close? Like, is there any sort of like time frame there?
Not that I'm aware of.
And you said the scene was really difficult. I mean, is this something you've had to deal with before in Moscow?
Since I've been coroner, there have been at least 2 other multiple homicide scenes that I've been involved in. So
Would you say this is probably the most gruesome?
it's hard to just single it out. It's the only one I've been to where there have been 4 people at one scene. There have been the other ones have had multiple scenes.
And was anybody else injured, like any non-deceased people?
Not that I'm aware of, but I wouldn't necessarily be notified either.
Okay. I didn't know if that was like because the injuries could be similar that matter to you.
Oh,
But
right.
no. Okay.
Were the deceased all in close proximity to each other, or were they in different rooms?
I don't know that I can discuss that.
That was my next question too. So I think, yeah.
Will we be able to get a copy of your report once it's concluded? I'm sure it'll be.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just call.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you know what the time frame for that would be?
It just depends on how relevant the toxicology report is, but
Okay.
So-
So it was like the 4 to 6 weeks.
it could
Okay.
be. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it.
So that was Kathy Mabbitt. She's the coroner, and then the person that does the autopsy, she's like a voted in, like a representative that's like voted in to be in that position. But I think that she's actually like her credentials is like registered nurse. So like that's why I'm just like, man, they'd be letting anybody just call stuff over there. I mean, not that a registered nurse doesn't know the crap, because they do, but I mean, I don't know. It's just it's a little weird for me. Really, Tennessee gal? So you just like you've seen it all, man. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could work at a funeral home. I would be too emotional. I would be. I'm an emotional person. Do you know what I mean? Like I would be like seeing the person, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, that'd be so sad. Yeah, anybody could be the coroner. Yeah, they just go in and they are the ones that do the manner of death, and then the cause of death. Or I believe, or maybe I'm doing it backwards. And then when the autopsies are done, that's who concludes I believe it's the cause of death. And what means. So you've watched one? I have. Oh, ugh. Yeah, just a job. Yeah, I can understand that too. Definitely can understand that. Okay, so we'll go over to this page here, which we've been kind of going through and doing all the updates. So we were on the 18th. The next one is when the police share out this press release, says that detectives are working on the University of Idaho homicides and they're seeking additional tips and leads to further the investigation. The following map details the night of November 12th into the early hours of November 13th with the location and approximate times when Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogan were in downtown Moscow while Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were at the Sigma Chi house. Anyone near these areas who observes suspicious behavior, has video surveillance, or can provide relevant information is asked to call the tip line, and then gives the tip line. And then we'll see if we can open this, make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is the map that they showed. It shows that, I just want to make sure I'm like going the right way. So it shows the residence down here in the blue. Up here it says 11:12 from, I think that's 11 to 1:30. Kaylee and Maddie are at Corner Club, 202 North Main Street. At 11:13, sorry, at 1:40, Kaylee and Maddie at the they're seen at the grub truck at 318 South Main Street. And we are going to go over the grub truck video in our next live. We have lives that we're going to do the layout of the house and animation where the victims were. And then I have another live coming about the crime scene with like visuals for that as well. So those are some other lives that will be coming up on. We're just establishing a timeline at this point. So then the same night, Ethan and Xana attend the Sigma Chi party. And Ethan and Xana are at the residence by 1:45. And Kaylee and Maddie are at the residence by 1:45. So everybody's home and at the residence by 1:45. And then I'll open up this next one. Okay. So then this is November 18th, another press release on the same date. The Moscow Police Department is providing the following information to update the public on the known facts surrounding the 4 murders that occurred on November 13th in Moscow, Idaho. On the evening of November 12th, Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogan were at a local bar called the Coroner Club at 202 North Main Street in downtown Moscow between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. On November 13th at approximately 1:40 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie were seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street and used Uber from downtown to arrive at their 1122 King Road residence at 1:45 a.m. Investigators have determined that Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were seen at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Pierce Drive at approximately 1:45 a.m. Ethan and Xana are believed to have returned to the residence at 1122 King Road. It was previously reported that Ethan resided at the home. However, it has been determined that he was only visiting. 2 other roommates were at the residence that night. On November 13th at 11:58 a.m., officers responded to the residence after a 911 call reported an unconscious individual. Upon arrival, officers discovered Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan deceased inside the residence. Autopsies were conducted on November 17th. The Latah County coroner confirmed the identity of the 4 murdered individuals and their cause and manner of death as homicide by stabbing. The coroner stated that the 4 victims were likely asleep, some had defensive wounds, and each was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of SA. And none of us never got that because they were like the 4 victims were likely asleep, but then in the same sentence you put some had defensive wounds. So it's like, did they wake up and start fighting, or were they fighting beforehand? Like, were they awake? In my opinion, some were awake. At this time in the investigation, detectives do not believe the 2 surviving roommates or the male in the grub truck surveillance video are involved in the crime. Additionally, online reports of the victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. The identity of the 911 caller has not been released. As part of the investigations, detectives seized the contents of 3 dumpsters on King Road to locate possible evidence. Additionally, detectives have contacted local businesses to determine if a fixed blade knife had been recently purchased. Doing old school police work, boots on the ground. At this time of the release, detectives have received nearly 500 tips, which are being processed, investigated, and cleared. 38 interviews have been conducted with individuals who may have information about the murders. Anyone with information about the crime is asked to call, and it gives the number. And then it just says the Moscow Police Department is utilizing assistance from the Idaho State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Latah County Sheriff's Office. And it says here, Moscow Police Department has 4 detectives, 24 patrol officers, and 5 support staff on this case. Federal Bureau of Investigation has 22 investigators in Moscow, 20 assigned agents located in Treasure Valley, Idaho, Salt Lake City, Utah, and West Virginia, 2 behavioral analysis units. Idaho State Police, 20 investigators, 15 troopers, public information officer, ISP forensic services, and mobile crime scene team, 15 uniformed troopers to assist with community patrols. Currently, there is no suspect in custody, and the weapon has not been found. Oh, I'm sorry, Tennessee. Okay, let's see here. We'll go back and go to the next update. Just want to read. I want to make sure we're reading the stuff that's new. Okay, this is the same one. Sometimes they put out the same one. I bet you this should be different. Okay, now when was this done? 20th. Okay. Oh, there's no update on the 20th. This says the 20th, though. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, this is weird. It says the 20th, but then again, it says no update on the 20th. Okay. So, I put this thing, StreamYard has been really funky. It says again that I have you guys on 2 different screens, and I don't. So I have to see which one's up there that's not up, which one's on the screen, so I don't exit, out of the actual document. And can you guys see that okay? Or does that look like super, I don't want to make it where you guys can't see it. It looks like you guys can't see it. There. That's better, probably. I mean, heck, it's better for me too. So November 20th, the Moscow Police Department is providing the following information to update the public on for the known facts surrounding the 4 murders that occurred on November 13th. And then I think this will be what was in that we're going to hear in the press conference as well. Updated information is detectives are releasing that on the morning of November 13th, the surviving roommate summons friends to the residence because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. At 11:58 a.m., a 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence on one of the surviving roommate's cell phone. Now, that sentence, when I was reading this earlier, I was like, So this whole time, we were all led to think that they were outside when they made the phone call to 911. But here it says the call originated from inside the residence. So maybe it wasn't there. Maybe it was inside. Multiple people talked with the 911 dispatcher before a Moscow police officer arrived at the location. Officers entered the residence and found 4 victims on the 2nd and 3rd floors. At this time in the investigation, detectives do not believe any individual at the residence when 911 was called is involved in this crime. Rumors and speculation continue circulating about the ongoing investigation. MPD cautions the public not to rely on rumors and remains committed to keeping the public informed. We urge reliance on official channels for accurate information. Oh, it's not letting me go down because it's blown up. Okay. So detectives are looking for context to the events and people involved in these murders. Anyone who observed notable behavior, has surveillance, video surveillance, or can provide relevant information is asked to call the tip line. Press release. All press releases go through listserv process on the City of Moscow's website, and it tells you how to do the press releases and media. We encourage our community to rely on official channels for the most accurate information. These are the City of Moscow news releases and the Moscow PD Facebook page. And Titanium Bill's page, of course. There will be a news conference to update the public on the investigation. And we got that actually. This says when, the 23rd, but we have it the 20th. So did you try to sneak one out from underneath us or something? Because it said there that was weird. Okay, so we're at up to the 21st on these. Actually, we might even be up to the 22nd. Yeah. Just double checking. Okay. So that one we'll read next time. Okay, so this is the press conference that they had on 11/20 of 22. So this was just a week after the homicides. No suspect in sight. Although, I guess we were hopeful that they would come out and they were going to tell us they had a suspect in sight, but we didn't. I don't know. I wasn't very hopeful at this time. It was a crazy time. It really was. It didn't look like they had like much to go on. I don't know. When they were giving us the first press conference, they didn't tell us a whole lot. They just kind of told us, there's 4 victims, and they wouldn't tell us like where they were located, how they had died, and like all that. So we were getting more information now. Little by little, they gave us information as much as I guess they could, and without compromising the integrity of the investigation. So we'll watch this one here, and then we'll see where we go from there. We'll see. Maybe we'll do. I have a video from a crime scene investigator. I was trying to look up. I have. I'll find it. It's somewhere, but it's like the usual suspects or something. I named it. I forget, but it's a video I did on all of the suspects in this case. All of the people that shouldn't have been named a suspect in this case. And I had it forever. I know I still have it. So I'll have to look for it and play it for you guys next time, because it's just, it was kind of funny and like not really, because these people, they literally were all considered, people were on the internet just going after these people, just like Katie and Chris's Sebastian Rogers case, just like, other cases that we were covering or whatever on this channel. People go after the people that are, last seen or closest to them, or, things of that nature. Because, and it usually is somebody that's closest to somebody. So I can't say that they're wrong. So we will play this here. And then I'm going to skip through, like, when the president of the university comes up. He doesn't say much of anything he just talks about the school. But then we'll just go back to the questioning and stuff like that.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Chief James Fry with the Moscow Police Department. The last spelling of my name is F-R-Y. I'd like to introduce Moscow Police Captain Roger Lanier, Colonel Kedrick Wells of the Idaho State Police, University of Idaho President Scott Green, Dean of Students for the University of Idaho, Blaine Eccles, and Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson. This incident has shaken our community, has continued to shake our community, and we continue to mourn for the victims. We will continue to vigorously pursue the investigation and pursue justice in this case. It is a complex and terrible crime, and it will take some time to resolve. Today, we want to clarify what we know and where we're at in this investigation. Our primary goal is public safety and to get a completion of this case and bring someone to justice. We continue to dedicate all the resources to this investigation. We've had 646 tips received, and all will be processed, vetted, investigated, and cleared. We've done over 90 interviews in this case so far, and the Moscow Police Department is utilizing the assistance from the Idaho State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and Latah County Sheriff's Office. The personnel that has been assigned to this from the Moscow Police Department is 4 detectives, 24 officers, and 5 support staff. Federal Bureau of Investigators, we have 22 investigators in Moscow, 20 additional are assigned and located in the Treasure Valley, Salt Lake City, Utah, and West Virginia.
Wonder if Bryan was listening to this and being like, oh crap. Like, I mean, that's a lot of officers rolling into little Moscow, Idaho.
We have 2 behavior analysis individuals from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. For the Idaho State Police, we have 20 investigators, a public information officer, ISP forensic services, and a crime scene team. We have 15 uniformed troopers to assist our community to help provide the additional resources for our patrols. Detectives are looking to develop any content that would help us in this event. Anyone who has observed any notable behavior or has any video surveillance or can provide relevant information about these murders, please call our tip line at 208-883-7180. Or you can email the tip line and that is tipline@ci.moscow.id.us. At this time, I would like to introduce Captain Lanier to give you some additional information.
Good afternoon. My name is Roger Lanier. I'm a captain over the Operations Division for the Moscow Police Department. My last name is spelled Lanier. I just want to first state that this tragic murder has shaken the community. It's been very hard for members of the community, and it's been equally difficult for our officers and for the investigators. We will continue to put all of our resources towards investigating and bringing this to a resolution. Here's what we've determined so far. On the evening of November 12th, Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Morgan were at a local bar and were later at a food truck in downtown Moscow. They arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. on the morning of November 13th. Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were at the Sigma Chi house before also arriving home at approximately 1:45 a.m. 2 surviving roommates were also out in the community, and they returned home at approximately 1 a.m. and did not wake up until later that morning. On the morning of November 13th at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed to the Whitcomb Dispatch Center reporting an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence and was made from the phone of one of the surviving roommates. Moscow Police Department officers responded and located 4 victims, 2 on the 2nd floor and 2 on the 3rd floor. The Latah County Coroners conducted autopsies, and detectives have been provided with the results of those autopsies. We know that the autopsies confirmed the identity of the 4 victims, determined the cause and manner of death as homicide by stabbing, and determined that it was likely all 4 victims who were asleep during the attack. Some of the victims had defensive wounds, and each victim was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of sexual assault. Investigators have determined 2 areas of interest within the city and have provided maps which are on our Facebook page and on our website. And these are areas that they have canvassed for additional surveillance video and tips, and have contacted several residents in the areas. The areas are generally south of Taylor Avenue to Palouse River Drive and west of Highway 95. Detectives have also canvassed several other neighborhoods looking for evidence, looking for additional surveillance video, and contacting residents and speaking to them to see if they may have heard or seen something. I want to address several areas of speculation, conjecture, and misinformation that has circulated on social media platforms and otherwise. We do not believe the following individuals are involved in this crime: the 2 surviving roommates, a male seen at the grub truck food vendor downtown, specifically wearing a white hoodie, a private party who provided rides home to Kaylee and Madison in the early morning hour of November 13th. Additionally, the identity of the 911 caller and the 911 call have not been released. So any information out there is speculation about that. Investigators are aware that multiple phone calls from Madison and Kaylee's phone were made to a male subject. Any online reports stating that the victims had been tied and gagged are not accurate. Detectives seized the contents of 3 dumpsters on King Road and searched those dumpsters in an effort to find additional evidence, but nothing of note was discovered. Early in the investigation, local businesses were canvassed in an effort to see if any fixed blade type knives may have recently been purchased. And currently, there are no suspects in custody, and we have not located a weapon. I want to assure you that every investigator involved will continue to put all of their resources and all of our partner agencies' resources into continuing this investigation. We do appreciate the community support. We understand how stressful it is, and we will continue to work through this situation. At this time, I would like to turn the mic over to Colonel Wills from the Idaho State Police.
Thank you, Captain. My name is Kedrick Wills, KEDRICKWILLS, and I serve as the Director of the Idaho State Police. And I appreciate your attendance this afternoon as we talk about this horrific, horrific crime. The murders of Ethan, Xana, Madison, and Kaylee are a tragic loss to all of us. Nothing we can do will bring back these young lives. But we have an absolute commitment to working together to solve these senseless murders. And the way that we know how to do that is partnerships. And our partnership with the Moscow Police Department, with the Idaho State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the University of Idaho to bring this issue to a conclusion and bring this to justice is absolute. We continue with Idaho State Police resources here on the ground in Moscow and throughout Idaho. Whatever the needs are, that's what we want to do. And the chief spoke about the Idaho State Police resources that are here. And he spoke about patrol resources, and we have those uniformed troopers here in Moscow and on the campus of the University of Idaho to help people to feel safe and to provide that sense, that security to the people that are here, both in the student body as well as in the community at large. And we will continue to do that as long as is necessary throughout this time. In addition, that's in addition to our forensics team that was here, in addition to our investigative team and all the other state police resources. We know that people want answers. We want answers too. As was already mentioned, this is really, really difficult for those investigators, those dedicated professionals who are investigating this crime. And a lot of people have expressed their desire to help. And the best thing that most of people can do to help is to stop with any kind of rumors and just seek official information that comes out of the Moscow Police Department. Anything that we have that we can share from a law enforcement perspective, we will be sharing just as soon as we can, because that's how we think that we can get this to conclusion. Please rely on official sources of information, and please be patient. I understand that everybody wishes that this was solved already, but these things take time. It takes time to work through. You heard the stats of all the tips and everything, the interviews and everything that's been done. This takes time for our investigators to work through. So please be patient as we work through this investigation. We owe this to these young kids, to these young adults. We owe it to them. And we are absolutely dedicated to make sure that that happens. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce the University of Idaho President Scott Green.
Scott Green, President, University of Idaho. Last name spelled Green, like the color. First, we continue to extend our heartfelt condolences to the families and friends
I'll
of the
fast forward
victims.
him.
As stated earlier,
I don't think he cries this time. First time he cried, though. And he just talks about the school. Students can stay home if they want. Nothing really from an investigative side, because he's not an investigator.
to us. Thank you.
So we're going to open it up at this time to about 8 to 10 questions. We ask that only one question is asked per person, please. And I would also like to just see if there's an Argonaut reporter here. I think it's only fair to give our student reporter the first shot.
Speak up if you're in the room, if you're from the Argonaut.
Are you from the Argonaut?
Are you from the University of Idaho Argonaut? Is anybody from the University of Idaho Argonaut? Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Ted Williams, Fox News. You all have said that these killings are targeted. Can you share with us why you believe they are targeted killings? And do you know who, if any, of the victims were the actual targets of the killings?
As we stated earlier in the previous press release, or press conference, we believe they're targeted because we take a totality of all the circumstances that we're looking at. Do we know any one person that it was targeted? We're not able to say at this point in time due to our investigation, but we still believe that. But we, like I said, we take a totality of everything that we're looking at.
Chief Glenn Mosley, Idaho Public Radio here in Moscow. On the resources, do
You know how every case there's like a word everybody uses? Like, do you ever notice in general on YouTube, like somebody will say a word or a phrase and then everybody's saying it? I was trying to think of the word. Oh, the word in this case was totality. We heard it so many times. You'll hear, we should start counting.
you have the resources that you need?
We do have the resources. It is an incredible outpouring of what we receive from the Idaho State Police and from the Federal Bureau of Investigations and Lake County. Anything we ask for is given. So at any time, if we need additional, all I have to do is call the colonel and he will provide that. He's already guaranteed me that. And I know the FBI has said the same thing.
Hi, Emma Epperly from the Spokesman Review. I know you've said you're not going to release who the 911 caller was, but was the killer the 911 caller?
I will tell you no.
Can you clarify, you said it was made from the roommate's phone, but you didn't say the roommate made the call. So did the roommate make the call on the roommate's phone, or can you clarify if it was another individual who made the call?
Actually, if we could just go to this one first. And
Well, that's why I wanted to.
so what I'll say to that is it was made from the roommate's call or phone, excuse me. And we're not going to divulge who made that call it's part of our investigation still. And when we get ready to release that, we will.
Hi, Christina Corbin with Fox News. The male subject whom the women called, has he been ruled out as a suspect or person of interest?
Everything that we have taken from those calls, we have followed up on, we've cleared, and we believe that there's no connection there.
Gotti Schwartz, NBC News. Just following up on the 911 call, you said that you don't believe that's the killer. Can you conclusively rule out the person that called 911 from inside the home as a suspect in this case?
Can you go ahead and just ask that one more time, please?
The person that was inside the home that called 911 that was not one of the roommates. Can you conclusively rule that person out as a suspect at this point?
I don't think I said that it wasn't one of the roommates. I said that it was used with the roommate's phone.
I believe somebody asked if that was the killer and you said no.
No, that's correct.
Was there someone there other than the two roommates when police responded to the home?
So will you clarify that for me?
You're not confirming a roommate called 911, but they used the roommate's phone. So was there someone else at the home other than those two roommates?
There was other friends that had arrived at the location.
Is that Shanley?
How many?
Is that Shanley Painter? Oh man, she was so young. Just new into journalism.
And was that who made the call?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure at this time, to be quite honest.
Do you guys have any idea if the killer's still within the community, or are you looking outside the community for the killer in terms of their physical location?
We are looking everywhere that evidence would lead us. I can't say if the person's here. I can't say what community the person's in. We're utilizing every resource we can to make that location of that individual. And part of that is the safety of our community is paramount. And that's why we brought in the resource that we brought in to keep our community as safe as we can.
Being so close to the border, does that make it kind of automatically an interstate investigation? Can you comment on that?
I cannot comment on that. I'm not even aware.
If you look in Washington at all, I guess, for...
We're looking everywhere. I'm going to take two more questions.
Huh. Kind of strange that she knew to go to Washington. I mean, you know.
Do you still believe this attack was done by one perpetrator? And if so, how does one individual kill 4 people at night and not wake up the other 2 roommates?
Our investigation will continue to look at all avenues of that investigation. I cannot disclose any of that information. I don't even know that information at this point in time, and that's why we're continuing to investigate.
You don't know how this happened without the other two roommates hearing it or waking up or noticing?
We do not. One more question.
Hi, Angela Palermo, Idaho Statesman. In the press release yesterday, you confirmed that the victims were found on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the home. Can you say which of the victims were found where?
I'm not going to go ahead and disclose that information. They were found on the 2nd and 3rd floor. And that's as far as we're going to go with that part of the investigation too, because all those key pieces do come to play later. So we do thank you. We thank you for meeting with us. We thank you for helping get information out. And I can assure you, we will continue to work hard. We will continue to do everything we can to solve this. So thank you.
And that's all he said. And he's like, and thank you. I mean, he's probably ready to get out of there. You know, at that point, you have all those people just staring at you, asking you questions that he didn't have the answers to, or he couldn't give the answers to. I just don't think they had the answers. I mean, it was 7 days in. I think they were spinning their wheels. They had no idea who did this. And if it was somebody that was that knew them or didn't know them. But I think that I think maybe the officers were more under the impression in the beginning that this suspect was somebody that was probably known to the victims. And that could have hurt them in a way if they thought that way, I mean, because knifing's usually pretty personal. Mass unalivings, I would think would be usually pretty personal. We know the Wagner and the the Rodin family, the Piketon massacre. So very very sad though. So we'll read through this. It's just a timeline. It gets us like kind of caught up to what we kind of just went over the last few days. So it'll get us caught up to where we are now. But it says here that the killings of 4 University of Idaho students in an off-campus home in Moscow in November 2022 were as brutal as they were perplexing. The group of friends had gone out in the college town and returned to their shared home late. The next day, police found the 4 students slaughtered inside, and there was no sign of forced entry or damage. I swear my glasses look dirty. The slayings led to weeks of investigation from police, frustrations from the victims' families about the pace of the police work, and fear in the local community of a mass killer on the loose. Nearly 2 months later, Moscow police arrested a 28-year-old man in Pennsylvania on murder warrant in the killings of the 4 students. The man, Bryan Kohlberger, lived in Pullman, Washington, and was a graduate student studying criminal justice. He has not yet entered a plea. The lurid case has riveted the public, but police have not released a potential motive, and a sweeping gag order has kept the parties from speaking or revealing further details. So this is the timeline that CNN has put together. So on Saturday, November the 12th, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle were students at the University of Idaho who lived in a nearby off-campus residence in Moscow, a college town of about 25,000 people. Ethan didn't live there, but they put that in there. They had 2 other roommates in the 3-floor, 6-bedroom apartment. Goncalves posted a series of photos to her Instagram. This is one of them of that day. At some point with the caption, "One lucky girl to be surrounded by these people every day." One of the photos shows Mogen sitting on Goncalves' shoulders with Chapin and Kernodle standing next to them. And this is the picture that they put on the day that they were murdered. So, the night after that. That night, Chapin and Kernodle went to a party on campus, and Mogen and Goncalves went to a downtown bar. On Sunday, November 13th, Mogen and Goncalves ordered a late-night food truck at about 11:41 a.m. The food truck's live Twitch stream shows. They ordered $10 worth of carbonara from the grub truckers and waited for about 10 minutes on their food. As they waited, they could be seen chatting with each other and other people standing by the truck. The 2 students did not seem to be in distress or in danger in any way, said Joseph Woodall, 26, who manages the truck. And we're going to go over this footage a little bit on our next live. Chapin and Kernodle were believed to have returned home around 1:45 a.m. The Goncalves and Mogen used a private party for a ride home at about 1:56 a.m., according to police. One of the surviving roommates, identified in court paperwork as DM, told investigators she heard crying in the house the morning of the murders and heard a voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." She then saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. And that was in the affidavit. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase, court documents reveal. The male walked towards the back of the sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. The document says adding the roommate did not recognize the male. Statements by the surviving witness and other evidence leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. The two roommates in the home who were not injured later or woke up later in the morning and summoned friends to the house because they believed one of the victims had passed out and was not waking up. A call to 911 was made just before noon about an unconscious person at the residence. Arriving officers found the door to the residence open and discovered the bodies of 4 fatally stabbed students. It was a pretty traumatic scene to find 4 dead college students in a residence, Latah County Coroner Kathy Mabbitt later told CNN affiliate KXLY. There were no signs of forced entry. All right. Police records indicate Kohlberger's phone was near the quadruple murder scene between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m., hours after Kohlberger allegedly killed the university students. Moscow police issued a statement stating 4 people were found dead at a home off campus. University of Idaho police. I'm sorry. Let me read that over again. University of Idaho President Scott Green announced the 4 victims were students and canceled classes Monday. So then that comes to Monday, and it says Moscow police issued a statement identifying the 4 victims as Chapin, Concalves, Kernodle, and Mogan. Police said details were limited and no one was in custody. They outed Moscow police did not believe there was an ongoing community risk based on information gathered during the preliminary investigation. Like, what made you think that? Very curious to know why you didn't think that the community was at risk. So you thought this was targeted. Now we're finding out maybe it wasn't so targeted. Maybe it was just one of those like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Moscow Mayor Art Betej released a statement calling the deaths senseless acts of violence. He said only limited information could be shared without jeopardizing the integrity of the investigation. Green issued a statement offering condolences to the victims' families, and the community. Moscow police do not believe there is an ongoing community risk based on information gathered during the preliminary investigation. However, we ask our employees to be empathetic, flexible, and to work with our students to desire to return home to spend time with their families. Tuesday, November the 15th. We have them making another statement saying an edged weapon, such as a knife, was used in the killings. No suspects were in custody and no murder weapon had been found. Also, based on information from the preliminary investigation, investigators believe this was an isolated, targeted attack and there is no immediate threat to the community at large. I want to know what their preliminary investigation consists of. Like, can we just look that up? Like, Google that? Let's see. A preliminary investigation is a process that involves gathering, analyzing, and preserving evidence to determine if a crime has been committed. It takes place early in the criminal investigation process. What happens during a preliminary investigation? They access the scene. It says the officer in charge of the investigation ensures the scene is safe and determines if there's more resources are needed. Identify the victim, crime scene, and time. The investigator identifies who was harmed, where the crime took place, and when it happened. They gather evidence. They gather from witnesses, documents, and physical evidence. Analyze the evidence. They evaluate the evidence to support their theories about a crime. Determine if there is enough evidence. If there's enough evidence that a crime was actually, committed. And then it says what happens after a preliminary investigation. Police expert investigators take over to analyze the crime scene in more detail. The information gathered during the preliminary investigation is used to help catch the suspect and solve the crime. A follow-up investigation may be conducted to gather more information to close the case. So there we go. Yeah, Jeremy, you're right. Yeah. It would still be targeted. You're true. That's true. But you would think, I mean, maybe it's because it was mass unaliving also, and they do say that a lot of people that do mass unalivings, they don't commit another crime. Like that's like, I think it's because they usually get caught pretty quick, but they don't normally like commit another crime. That's like their one and done. But I don't know. Okay, sorry. I was trying to figure out where we were. Later in the day, police released another statement attempting to calm fears of a killer on the loose. We hear you and we understand your fears, police said. We determined early in the investigation that we do not believe there is an ongoing threat for community members. Evidence indicates that this was a targeted attack. What evidence? I mean, other than that, it was just them. Wednesday, November 16th, Police Chief Bryan held a news conference, the department's first in the case, and reiterated there was no suspect. He also backtracked on the assertions of no one at risk. We cannot say there's no threat to the community, Fry said. And as we have stated, please stay vigilant, report any suspicious activity, and be aware of your surroundings at all times. 2 other roommates were home at the time of the attack and were not injured, Fry said. There were other people at the home, but we're not just focusing just on them. We're focusing on everybody that may be coming and going from that residence. Friday, November the 18th, 5 days after the murders, Kohlberger received a new license plate for his white Hyundai Elantra. Court records revealed. The Washington State Department of Licensing provided CNN a redacted copy of a vehicle record, which included a license plate number matching what is described as the new license plate in the court documents. Detectives by then had conducted 38 interviews with people who may have information about the killings and had taken the contents of 3 dumpsters near the house in case they held evidence. But they didn't take the trash from the house. Investigators also asked local businesses if there had been any recent purchases of a fixed blade knife. Hoping for tips from the community, investigators released a map and timeline of the victims' movements. The map shows the 4 students spent most of the night separated in pairs. And I showed you that just a little bit ago. The victims were likely asleep before they were attacked, police said. The victims were found on the 2nd and 3rd floors of their home, Idaho State Police spokesperson Aaron Snell told CNN. And at this time still, nobody knew what the inside layout of the house was. Like nobody knew what it looked like. People were speculating. They were starting to like draw maps and stuff and like, on anything. Napkins, paper, whatever they could find. But at this point in time, we didn't have, we didn't know exactly what the inside of the house looked like. 1 week after, so then Sunday, November 20th, that's where we're at now. So 1 week after the bodies of the 4 students were discovered, authorities still have no suspect or weapon. Police have fielded 646 tips and conducted more than 90 interviews, Police Chief Fry said at a news conference. Fry declined to identify who placed the 911 call from the home where the students were slain, saying only the call came from the phone of one of the surviving roommates. He wouldn't confirm which one placed the call. There were other friends that had arrived at the location. Fry said, adding the person who called 911 is not a suspect. Let me see. I don't know if I want to read through all of that because we'll just read through this. That way, we're like at a good spot because that's where we were anyway. And I was going to play this short video for you guys. This came out on the 20th of 2022 also.
Did anybody do their chores today? I'm just gonna do it.
Video of 3 of the University of Idaho staff.
This is when we saw the inside of the house. So this was probably this is the video that showed us the inside of the house. But people had to still like put it together. Do you know what I mean? Like what else? Like, we saw like parts of it, but we didn't see all of it. And look at how small Murphy is sitting there. Oh my gosh.
Stabbing victims posted on Kaylee Goncalvis's TikTok account shows the roommates all pretending to be each other, giving a glimpse of their friendship and their lives together in the 3-story house just weeks before they were brutally murdered. On the night of the murders, Ethan Chapin and Zaina Kernodle were at the Sigma Chi fraternity at the University of Idaho between 8 and 9 p.m. Madison Mogan and Kaylee Goncalves visited a local sports bar from 10 p.m. to 1:30 a.m., then a food truck around 1:40 a.m. Police releasing a map showing those exact locations for the first time, hoping new leads will break the case.
We believe that releasing information about the location of the victims throughout the night might generate some information that we can follow up on.
Police say all of the victims were home by 1:45 a.m. Their bodies found on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the home.
Is the first floor where the roommates were sleeping?
Yeah, we have not identified where the roommates were.
But the biggest question is who killed them and why. There are still no suspects.
We still contend that this was targeted. We cannot divulge the information of why we believe that or how that is integral to this investigation.
Police are clarifying why they're not releasing more information about the victims' roommates who were at home during the attacks.
In a case, someone may potentially be a victim, they may be a witness, or they may be a suspect. In this case, we don't know what the roommates are exactly at this time.
Zaina Kernodle's father saying he talked to his daughter the night she died.
I heard from her even before we went out. I think midnight was the last time I heard from her, and she's fine. They were just hanging out at home.
Her father, too distraught to be interviewed on camera, saying he has learned his daughter had defensive wounds, showing she fought her attacker.
Bruises and just, maybe hurt by the knife or whatever. She's a tough kid. Whatever she wanted to do, she could do it.
The county coroner confirmed to CNN that some of the students likely had defensive stab wounds to the hands, and there were no signs of sexual assault or an issue of drugs or alcohol.
But each student had multiple stab wounds? That's correct. That's really the main thing that I saw.
Where's that interview?
The victims' friends and coworkers say now they just want to honor their memories.
Hold on a second. Does anybody remember Mabed doing a second interview? I don't ever remember seeing Kathy Mabed do another interview. Am I just the one am I going nuts? I thought she just did the one, but it's all it's going to pull up is the one. Maybe this. Let's see. No. Okay, that's weird. Let's go.
They just brought light to the room.
Honor their memory.
Where were they at?
Was a lot of blood.
The victims' friends and coworkers say now they just want to honor their memories.
They just brought light to the room that they were in.
Aaron, police say there were no signs of forced entry into the home. Zaina Kernodle's father telling our affiliate that in order to get inside this house, you either have to know the door code to get in through the front or get in through the sliding glass door in the back, which leads him to believe that whoever did this knew how to get inside the house. Aaron.
Kevin, a lot of us remember that Trump didn't.
Well, that was quick. Hey, Mystic. Hey, Deb. I don't remember the second either. I'm trying to look it up. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to be looking into this. What does this one say? Does she have one with Banfield too? I'll be damned. If it'll load. I know my computer's not slow. I have full service. Is this really you're not doing this to me tonight. I'm like, you're not doing this to me tonight. It's like literally just going in circles. Maybe it's not. Okay, we're going to see if it. Okay, I'm just seeing. Hey, SSD. I'm trying to see if this one will load, but it won't. It's not loading. So let's go. Um, I'm gonna have to find that. Oh, wait, hold on. But this is like the same shirt, but it's like a different interview. Well, she only says like one word in that interview. Maybe it's because like they just there wasn't a lot. Let's see. Yeah, this isn't it either. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna have to find that. That was weird. Because I mean, I've literally have we've played every documentary, every Nancy Grace, everything everything you could play in this case, we played it. I can say that with almost 100% certainty up until I just saw that interview. And I don't remember that at all. At all. But I'm gonna write that down just so I can remember. I think he's out there eating cereal or something. I can hear the spoon in the bowl. It's making me hungry. Why are you doing that to me? He's out there eating something. Sounds good. I'm just gonna put down second interview and I'll look tomorrow because it gives me something to do while I'm on the treadmill. It is odd. I'm gonna look for it though. I'll find it for us. So my thing with Dylan is I've been in a position myself where I saw something so traumatizing that, I mean, and I'm talking traumatizing. Like, think of something traumatizing that's happened in your life and maybe times that by like a couple. I don't know. It was very traumatizing. And I had police officers at my house trying to let us know what was going on. And they were like pounding on the shingles, like the siding, of the house, or whatever. And on my bedroom window, they knew which one was my bedroom because one of the officers there that night lived beside me. He grew up beside me. He didn't live there anymore, but his parents still did. I was in such a, I don't know if it would be considered flight or frozen shock or a little of both, but I went to sleep 3 different times. Like, I would wake up to them pounding and I'd go back to sleep. My body would just collapse. It would just it was like something I didn't really have control over, but I could have, but maybe I couldn't have. I don't know if I even had control over it until someone had to come through my window, a friend of mine, and wake me up and literally scream at me and tell me. And it was just something that I wouldn't wish on anyone to see or hear or know that they saw or was a part of. And I think that's why I have like a soft spot in a way for Dylan, because I've been in a position where I didn't know whether to run, hide, scream, fight, just and I'll tell you, it was the death of my dad. He was in a car accident and I just happened to be 10 cars behind the accident. So and then I had to tell my mom. So, those are things that happen. Like, just that was my frozen shock thing. But I did a video on it too. But I understand everybody's differently. Everyone feels things differently. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe she did do something sketchy. But I'm just saying in my personal experience, I've seen something scary and have fallen back asleep 3 times. And like I to this day I don't know how I did that. I don't know, like my brain, it's like the beautiful thing about your brain. It's just able to shut down and shut out things that it doesn't want in there. Like even after my car accident, on a scale from 0 to 15, 0 being like you're dead, 15 being like you're wide awake, you're able to talk and everything. I was a 15, they said, and I don't remember any of it. And they're like, yeah, you was talking to us. And I was like, oh, really? I don't remember. Yes, our minds have a way of protecting us. They do. Yeah, brain does that to protect you. Yep. It's a beautiful thing, you know. I mean, it sucks, but it's a beautiful thing. Especially my accident, thank goodness. I couldn't imagine knowing that my eye was messed up or that anything was really going on. You know what I mean? I was blessed to, you know, my brain just was like, this woman needs a break. And they shut that right down. But that's all I think I have for you guys for tonight. But it was so good to see everybody. I think the reason why they didn't do a party at their house that night was because they had a day game. Just from my experience, when we used to go up to Ohio State for day games, it seemed like campus got pretty quiet. Like around like 9-10 o'clock, people would start to go home because they were drinking at 9 a.m. because 12 o'clock game, college kids drink early. Mary Beth, my watch went dead. My watch died halfway through my workout today, and I thought, are you kidding me right now with life? Because who wants to work out, right? And if you're going to work out, your watch better be tracking you. But I used to have a Fitbit. I loved my Fitbit. It was a good live SSD. Oh, it started at 4. I thought it was like a noon game. I knew it was like a day game. I wasn't sure exactly what time it started. Well, then they probably started drinking around 12. I just know that, down on Ohio State campus, you can walk on a Saturday night down campus and everybody's door, if it's warm out, everyone's door will be open. You can go into any single party you want to, especially if you're a girl. They're not going to even stop you at the door. They're just going to hand you a drink. That's where we used to go because I did homeschooling, so I didn't have like a college to go to so we would just go up there. But I loved my little Fitbit. Oh yeah. What did it say? Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Tennessee gal. You've been through a lot. Wow, honey. My accident, the guy wanted to. He tried. Cop pulled up behind him. So he didn't get the chance to pull the trigger, so. I don't know what you went through, but at the same time, it's like almost relatable in a way. Really? Is mine rhythm? I'm from Ohio. I want the Aura ring too, Stephanie. And I have this big old chunking thing on my wrist. It's like what's it called? Oh shoot. It's the newest one. It's the newest watch and it's the titanium one. So it's like the extra special, Vincent said. Because I wanted the titanium, because I'm titanium. But the Aura rings are so cute. I just like them. And I think they help with my sleep better. Oh gosh, Tennessee gal. Mary Beth said, me too. They have them at Target. I think they're on sale actually right now. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure something about the Aura ring is on sale anyway. I remember seeing it and I just didn't stop. But I'm pretty sure they had something on deal. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't even have words, you know. Angel, I did that here. We had a tornado, really bad tornado. I mean, it took out all of like North Dayton. That's like the closest city to me. All of it just gone. Bye. See ya. See you later, alligator. Over here, it took out so much too. I mean, our whole apartment complex needed redone. They had to redo everything, balconies and everything. And I slept through it all. Vincent was getting ready to wake me up and he's like, it was done and over with by the time I was going to wake you up. And I'm like, you went through that by yourself? Because like, he's never been through a tornado. But yeah. Well, Ladybug, I hope you get some good results. Or at least results. You know what I mean? Like, the not knowing has to be hard. I know right now with the stuff that I heard today, it could be a completely different lifestyle change. So I'm just going to laugh about it, you know, but I'll let you guys know everything that's going on with me on the second channel tomorrow. It'll probably be afternoon around maybe 4-ish, 3:30-ish, 4-ish, because I do have a doctor's appointment. We're going to do a telehealth. I know they're going to say we want to see you, but I just want to at least talk to him and see what he says about what's going on. And I see the best care team. I have not one doctor. I have a primary care team. So it's, you know, they'll get it all fixed. They'll get me fixed. But it could be the reason for the fibromyalgia feeling, all of those feelings I was like telling you, like the neuropathy and stuff that I've been feeling. It could be a reason for that. So we're going to see. We're going to see. But if you guys say any prayers, just mention them, you know, mention me in your prayers tonight, because your prayers are always working. They always work. So I appreciate you guys. But thank you for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be back tomorrow on the second channel, Unfiltered with Tanya. And then I'll be back over here at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. I will put it on the community tab tomorrow. Also, the thumbnail and everything for the live for tomorrow on the second channel. So you guys will have that. But thank you for being here, and I appreciate you guys so much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.